Hello there. So, I was at my mom's house today and I came across an old children's book from when I was a kid. One of my favorite, I have had several favorites, which I think I'm going to do separate videos on these. And I haven't seen this one in a very long time. And she said she came across a bunch of my stuff and she saved them in a chest. So I got to go through it. And she's like, yeah, take those with you. This one, it's a really cute one called Donkey Donkey by Roger Devoisin, Duvoisin. And there it is right there. Here's the back of it. You can see I probably it's drawing, color on it. And here's the inside of it. And I loved stamps back in the day. And this one, November the 21st, 1987, November 20th, 1987. So, yeah, kind of gives you an idea. Um, when was the book printed? Book was printed 1940 by Grosset and Dunlap, and the copyright was renewed in 1968. So I want to read this book, and just disclaimer: this isn't intended to violate any copyright. This is just nostalgic and part of my heritage and my past as far as growing up. And we're talking about 40 years ago. So, all right, Donkey Donkey. Donkey Donkey was a nice little donkey. His ears were just long enough. His belly was white and round as a ball. Look at those eyes, though. Isn't that cute? He's like, yeah. Donkey Donkey had many very dear friends. Here are some of them, and here are others. Got a pig, cow, chicken. Oh, trying to open these. Pit and Pat, the horses, and Hector, the dog, were also his friends. Donkey Donkey's master was the kindest man in the village. Donkey Donkey loved thistles for his dinner, and there were a lot of them near the little stream across the meadow. Yet, in spite of all that, Donkey Donkey was not happy. One day he was drinking with Pat at the stream. And there's Pat, or Donkey Donkey with Pat. He saw Pat's head and his own head in the water. He thought Pat was so beautiful with his small ears, and he is so ridiculous with his long ones, that he became very sad, and he would not eat any more. So there's the big ears and the little ears, and here's Donkey Donkey drinking with Pat, and there saw the reflection. Donkey Donkey at last went to see Hector. Hector was very clever. He knew all sorts of tricks. He could tell his right paw from his left paw, and so on. Surely his advice would be good. You poor donkey, said Hector. I know what's wrong with you. With your ears up like that, you resemble a sailboat. Keep your ears down as I do. So there's him with his ears up. See how funny I would look with my ears up? That's it, Donkey Donkey. Put them down. Now they look almost as nice as mine, and Pat will be jealous because he can't do that. There's Hector with his ears up, and so Donkey Donkey put his ears down. And Donkey Donkey was happy again. He went trotting around the farm like a little colt. But poor Donkey Donkey, how his friends laughed at him when they saw him. Silly donkey, said Fuzzy Fuzzy the lamb. Why do you believe what Hector says? There is only one way to wear ears. Look at me. Doesn't everyone say I am pretty? And look at Phoebe the goat. And look at Fanny the cow. And look at the farmer's brother. Do you see how they all put their ears on the side? So many people can't be wrong, Donkey Donkey. Donkey Donkey was impressed. He let Fuzzy Fuzzy fix his long ears. Now, said the lamb, you are beautiful. Wait, let's fetch a mirror. Donkey Donkey agreed that he did look dainty. Naomi the hen said the mirror flattered him, but she had a bad disposition, and of course she would say that. So Donkey Donkey went away again, happy although somewhat doubtful, as you can see by his expression. This is the stable door with a scythe hanging on a big nail, and Donkey Donkey is just about to enter. He entered as usual, but unfortunate Donkey, the wicked nail met his ear and pierced it painfully. Oh, ouch! Donkey Donkey was sadder than ever. He cried all night long. It was very unpleasant for his friends. They could not sleep. They were quite angry with him. The next day Donkey Donkey decided to consult Rosa, the mother pig. She was not known to be very clever. She ate and slept so much. But she was a very honest person. Rosa listened attentively to Donkey Donkey's grievances. Let me think, she said, and she closed her eyes to think more deeply. But pigs have slow minds. Donkey Donkey waited a long time. He counted up to 100, but Rosa was still thinking. I suspect, in fact, she just went to sleep. Get this open here. At last, she opened her eyes and she said, Donkey Donkey, I don't know much about making people look prettier, but I can give you some practical advice. The idea of wearing ears up and down and sideways is all foolishness. When they are up, the wind and rain can get in them. When they are down, you can't hear, and when they are sideways, well, you know what happens. But if you keep them in front like mine, then you don't need an umbrella. You laugh at the sun and the rain, and you can hear ugh, ugh. And Rosa, who had never spoken so much in her life, went to sleep. Donkey Donkey tried it at once. He thought it was really a good idea. 2 days later, there was a lot of wind and rain. Pat caught cold and had the mumps. He had to stay in for a week. He was much ashamed. Donkey Donkey did not catch cold. He was delighted, although he felt sorry for Pat, of course. But this is to show the inconvenience of wearing one's ears in front and of being unable to see the sun and other things up in the air. Mr. Jones, the farmer, was painting his house. His ladder, being too old, broke. Mr. Jones fell, and he fell on Donkey Donkey's head, and they both fell to the ground. And Donkey Donkey was very ill. The doctor was called in. He bandaged his wounds. He pulled his tongue. He felt his pulse. He put him on a scale. He listened to his breathing, and then he gave him some bad-tasting medicine with a spoon. Donkey Donkey's wounds were soon healed, but he was still unhappy about his ears. Everything he tried had failed. As he was brooding over these sad things, Daniel, the little sparrow, perched on the nearby fence. He said, Donkey Donkey, silly donkey, you aren't a dog. You aren't a lamb. You aren't a pig. You are a donkey. Keep your ears up as donkeys do. Twit, twit, twit. And Daniel flew swiftly away. Donkey was astonished, but he was delighted when a little girl passing by with her father said, "Oh, Daddy, see the pretty little donkey. His ears are so beautiful." And from that day Donkey kept his ears up. He enjoyed eating thistles again, and he became the happiest of donkeys. Kind of look like, I don't know what happened here, but eyes are rubbed off. And this story is finished. And then, of course, on the back it tells about the author. Let's see. He was born in Geneva, Switzerland. Worked in ceramics. He came to the United States. He became a designer for an American textile firm. Um, Among the books he published was The Christmas Whale, The Happy Lion, Petunia, and Veronica, and many others. In 1948, he was awarded a Caldecott Medal for his art in White Snow, Bright Snow. And at the time this book published, he was living in Gladstone, New Jersey. So that's the story of Donkey. So thank you for sharing a piece of my childhood.